Okay, so y'all, we learned to factor to find the x-intercept. Factor. So we factored, and we always had to start the factoring. Y'all, go ahead and shut your computers. I don't know. There's nothing on the computer for me. Okay. What's the first thing we always do when we're factoring? Got to set it equal to 0, and then what? First thing. Nothing. Find the GCF, okay? And so we factored, we did perfect squares, perfect trinomials, we did 4 terms, we did 3 terms, we did all the things. And then we took a day and we learned how to make the little square roots better, right? We simplified the square roots, and then we did the quadratic formula yesterday. So factoring, quadratic formula. The last way I'm going to show you how to solve and get the x-intercepts is it's called completing the square. And y'all, we don't use it a lot, but first of all, it's my favorite one to do. And second of all, it's the easiest. If you don't know how to do any of the other ones, it is literally a process over and over and over. You don't even have to remember it. So it's just a process, okay? So if I was going to ask you the area of a square, what is the area of a square? Okay, so I'm hearing base times height, but what's true about the sides of a square? They're all equal. So would it be x times x or side times side? And that would give you side squared, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to do called complete the square. And when we do that, we are going to make the trinomial a square so I can take the square root. Okay, so first of all, we said we have to put it in standard form and it has to equal 0, right? So the number in front of the x squared would be a, the number in front of the x is b, and the number that's by itself is c. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to make this a perfect square. So the first thing I'm going to do is write down my b. What is the b here? -8. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take b and divide by 2. So -8 divided by 2 is -4. And the last step I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number right here, my b over 2, and I'm going to square it. So -4 squared is 16. So I'm going to add the 16 right here. So I took this number right here and I added it. Every single time I'm going to start it the same way. b divided by 2, b divided by 2 squared. I added the 16. Now I want to write this as a perfect square. So here I'm going to take x, and whatever my b divided by 2, it goes right here, and we're going to square it. So what's x times x? What's -4x times 2? -8x. And what's -4 times -4? So all I've done is rewrite this as a perfect square. That's all I did. So I'm going to do the same thing with the x squared plus 3x and the blank. So what is my b this time? 3. b divided by 2 is going to be 3 over 2. And then b divided by 2 squared. So what's 3 squared? 9. And 2 squared? 4. So I'm going to take this number and it goes right here. Now I want to write this as a perfect square. So what number am I going to use? None of you know? What did I use over here? I used the -4, which is my b over 2. So what's my b over 2 here? 3 over 2 squared. Okay, I'm going to do the next one also. So what's my b this time? -3 over 4. B divided by 2, which means I'm going to multiply by 1/2. So I'm going to get -3/8. And then my b over 2 squared. What's -3 squared? 9. And 8 squared? 64. So I get 9 over 64. So I'm going to take 9 over 64 and add it here. And then how do I write that as a perfect square? And don't forget the square, right? Okay, so does everybody see these are the same, right? These are the same. We're just rewriting this. Everybody sees that, right? I just wrote it as a square. Okay, so on the back. So I want to find the x-intercepts of this quadratic, and I'm going to use completing the square. So the first thing I have to do is I have to move this. We just want the x's by themselves. So I'm going to do x squared minus 10x, and I'm going to move that minus 9 to the other side. And now from here, we're going to do the same thing we were just doing. I want b over 2, and b over 2 squared. So what is our b? -10. -10 divided by 2 gives me -5. -5 squared is positive 25, right? Negative times a negative is a positive. So I'm going to take this 25 and I'm going to add it right here, just like we did on the other side. But now it's an equation. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other as well, correct? So I'm going to add 25 here as well. Everybody okay? So now I want to rewrite this as a perfect square. So this gets written as x minus 5 squared, correct? And this side, -9 plus 25 is 16. So how do I undo squared? I'm going to take the square root. And when I do that, on this side, I get x minus 5. And on the other side, when you take the square root, we get two answers, right? So I would get a plus and a minus 4. And does the plus and the minus sound familiar? What did I use it for? The quadratic formula, right? Because it's all related. They're all the same. So have I solved for x yet? The x isn't by itself. So I have to add 5 to the other side. So I'm going to get 5 plus 4 and 5 minus 4. Because I did the plus and the minus. So 5 plus 4 gives me 9, and 5 minus 4 gives me 1. Okay, are we good so far? Okay, I want to do this one next. Okay, Tony, what's my first thing I want to do here? minus the 21. Eden, what's next? Find the b. So what is it? So b over 2 gives me negative 3, and b over 2 squared gives me 9. Okay, Lewis, what do I do next? So which one of these numbers, you're right, which one am I going to add? Which number? The 9. So I'm going to add 9 here and add 9 here. Okay, so negative 21 plus 9 is going to give me, I think, 12. Negative 12, is that right? Okay, and then who's next? Jordan, how do I rewrite this as a perfect square? Uh-huh. Okay, and then Roy, what do I do next? I am going to square root it, but I really want to know, what do I do on this side when I square root? On this side. I have the square root of negative 12. It is an imaginary number. All right, that's perfect. So what does that mean I have to have in my answer? I have to have an I. And what do I need to do with the 12? Just simplify it. So if I simplify the 12, I get a pair of 2's. So on this side, I'm going to get plus or minus 2, and then we have to have the I, and then the square root of 3. Is the x by itself? No. So I'm going to add to the other side. Okay, I want to do one more. Okay, this is the next one I want to do. This is the next one I want to do. So first of all, is it in standard form? No. So where does this 8x need to go? Bless you. So I'm going to get x squared minus 8x plus 10 equals 0. Okay, I want you to try. Okay, so check yourself here. Yes? So y'all, the biggest question that I heard is that you wanted to know what to do with the square root of 6. And so the square root of 6 is just the square root of 6. It can't get any smaller, right? So I just left it the square root of 6. Okay, let's try to do one more. Okay, so first of all, before you're whining over the 240, is it in standard form? All right, so what do I have to move? Okay, so, and that goes in the middle, right? That's my second term. So I have 2x squared minus 40x minus 240. So is everybody good with that? Okay, but before we even do that, under factoring, always factor what? Divide by what? -2, right? Everybody divide by -2 to start. So now, what's our first step? What do I have to do? Move the 120, so we don't even need the 120. So it's -120 on this side. So now what do I start with? B, which is 20. My B over 2 is 10. And my B over 2 squared is 100. So how do I make the left-hand side a perfect square? What do I add? But if I add 100 to this side, what do I have to do to the other side? Add 100, right? So now can I write this as a perfect square? I'm going to get x plus 10 squared equals -20. Because -120 plus 100 is -20. Okay, any other questions about the math before I move on? So then how do I undo squared? And how many answers do I get on the right-hand side? Well, it's an imaginary, so what has to be in the answer? I. But when I take the square root, I get 2, right? I get plus and minus. I know that the negative sign means I'm getting an I, but you have to simplify the square root of 20. So that's 2 and 10 and 2 and 5. So I have a pair of 2's. So I get x plus 10 equals plus or minus 2i times the square root of 5. Is the x by itself yet? So I'm going to subtract the 10, and that goes in the front, right? -10 plus or minus 2i square root of 5.